Hello everyone, and welcome to another video for this channel. Today we've got a Nissan Qashqai, I think this was. I can't remember if I'm completely honest because I've done it a couple of weeks ago. But a lovely bronze colour, and I thought it's a tricky colour to do. Some people might want to know sort of some tricks and sort of things, ways of doing it. So I thought I'd chuck in and do a video. So first of all, this colour's going to be crap, so I literally done I thought I'd do a color blend. So color blend is literally like a clear sort of tinter as such. It doesn't change the color of the like adjacent panels. But all it does is you put it to where you're going to be losing your edge of color. So where I've got that grey primer on the door, if you say another 5 inches away from that is probably where I'm going to be losing my solid color. So I do it up to there, and what you're doing is with this sort of color, the base coat can stand up on the edge where you're flicking and blending, which can sort of make it not really stand up nice, and sometimes the metallics might not stand up correctly, which could leave like a halo effect. So you'll see like a silvery edge, and you'll see where I've stopped. So this helps with the laying down of my color, and also helps with the sort of the blend of the color, so it will go on really smooth and sort of a gradual instead of standing up. It makes those metallics stand up perfect, so the color will be as smooth as it can be. um Hoping you've got the right color. Obviously you got it's got to be a sort of a good color. So yeah, and the base coat which we're doing now is 2 bars pressure, and this is a Standox mix. So do one full coat and then a drop coat. The drop coat I normally do is a bit slower and a bit further away, which this helps with the metallics. This is where you can get the coarseness right and how it stands up. In this picture it does look dodgy. If you're thinking that, it does. Um, in the booth when I was painting it, I thought it looked a bit iffy, but with these lights, I did check it off camera with a different sort of light, and it looked fine on the blend. So it's just one of those sort of colors which is tricky. I did have to sort of go close to the rear quarter, the rear top of the quarter, because there was a bit of a thing on the edge around the sort of window bit, so I had to go a little bit further than I wanted to. On this door, it wasn't a new door. We put what they call like a skin on. So you sort of unweld the back, the front bit. You literally just put a new front bit on to the back, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. I could go into detail, but I don't want to bore you with that. So I have to do that inner seam bit, just where we've had to wrap it round and seal it. So if you see me go behind the door, that's what I'm doing. And the primer, or well, the grey that I put on there before, because this needed this sort of colour, was just a wet and wet. Just a sort of grey. If you're doing any sort of scheme, will tell you what colour to put under certain colours. Like some reds need like a white, or some need a grey. This needed a grey. So there's a couple like burn throughs and things like that. So I had to make sure that I had them covers with like an aerosol primer grey, and then sort of over the top. Because if I was to leave the door in the sort of like a black or something like that, and then painted it, but didn't do the same on the other panels, you'd see a difference when you put the door on. It would be a lot darker, because the color won't be as sort of, it won't cover what's underneath fully to sort of have the same color as the sides. So it's always best to make sure you got the same on your new door if you're doing a new door, so the same as what your other panels are, just to make sure that the colors match. So we normally do a 10-minute bake on the oven. We don't have the luxury of quads on this, so we have to literally put on a bake cycle for 10 minutes. And yeah, so once it's dry, this is where doing the color blend does help, because we tack rag. So we use like a water-based tack rag, to sort of, it just takes off any excess overspray. any dirt that landed when it was on bake, and pretty much just to try and get this as clean as possible, because polishing jobs is not a pain in the ass, but it's just a bit of a waste of time, because you want to just get it done and then fit it up and out the door, it'd be perfect, but it doesn't happen, and you do get bits of shit, so you want to try and make it as minimal as you can. And yeah, so just a quick tack rag. I find some people don't like, some painters don't really like to do it. I've found, and they say, oh, it can mark it, and yeah, it can mark it. You just got to be really gentle and just take your time. Don't rush, and yeah, you'll be super. So this is the first coat of lacquer. So I hope you might notice where I don't go to the very edge of the door. Um, with certain colours, I find silvers and maybe light metallics like silver and this sort of colour. Um, if you do 2 full coats of lacquer, it can sort of change the colour. Like it looks darker to the next, so that it was a wing there, so it would look darker to the wing. So as you can see, I've left about 1 inch to 2 inches where there's no lacquer, or it's just sort of like an overspray. I've stopped about 2 inches before. That will help with trying to make sure it doesn't go darker. If it does, then you'd have to maybe either blend on the wing, but then again, then you're chasing it. You could do the whole car. So sometimes you sort of want, it's, yeah, catch 22. You just got to hope that it's okay and do the best you can at trying to avoid these problems. I think I've said it before. Painting is, a lot of it is doing stuff before to avoid problems in the future, like your tack ragging and you're cleaning your job. You always got to make sure it's super clean. Um, yeah, just always take that extra 5 minutes just to go over it, check it. I get that. I mean, we're in a sort of like a bonus sort of place, so we try and get the jobs out quick, but getting them out quick isn't as good. Sometimes things go wrong. Funny enough, new door, well, the new skin did have a couple of scratches on it, which I didn't see. Just on the arch bit, on the lower bit, you couldn't actually see it inside, but we got it outside, and there was like these like scratches which I didn't see. Um, so maybe if I'd have took a little bit longer, I should have seen it. But it's all hindsight, isn't it? It could have been come out perfect, and I said, "Oh, it's lovely." But yeah, always take that little bit extra time and check over, and especially with these colours, you don't want to be starting having to muck around and do little blow-ins and things like that, because it just causes more problems in the end. And yeah, so that's the first coat. So I normally give it maybe about 3 to 5 minutes. This is like an air dry lacquer. It's a standox scheme, so we use everything from from primer to the wet and wet to base coat and lacquer. It's all one scheme. We know it all works together, and this air dries quite quick. They say around 20 minutes bake time. But yeah, we normally do 20 to 5, because it's sort of, yeah, just to make it go a little bit off quicker. But this is the second coat. Now on the door that I didn't do full to the edge, I will go fully to the edge. Obviously, we have to do that. That is to seal the panel. Um, you don't want to do 2 coats where I've done the first coat, because you'd have a lot of overspray, and yeah, you'd have a hard time trying to polish it in. So yeah, make sure you don't do what you did on the first coat on that door. You don't do it on the second coat. Um, yeah, and when you're doing on like second coats, I had it for a while when I was learning. Especially like the tops of the doors, I could get really nice, and the bottom, the further I went down, it would get drier. Uh, for ages. I was always scared of getting runs and putting too much on. So you'd have the top bit quite alright. It was nice because I could see it, and then the further I'd get down, you'd sort of, it would become a desert at the bottom. So yeah, always try and have the confidence and sort of try and believe in yourself to just go that little bit same speed if you can. It's hard to judge it because you think, oh God, am I going the same speed as I was at the top? And you sort of psych yourself out. And once you've started, you can't stop, so you can't even have a little think about it. So you've got to carry on. So believe in yourself and just try and go slow. And I mean, I still get sags. The people there will tell you, stuff always goes wrong. I'll get a run or it starts sagging. Where sagging is sort of like where it's not a run, but sort of moves. It just, you can see like a little ripple where it's a bit too much lacquer. Because it is hard to get that balance. I know people say it's easy to paint, but it is a skill. Um, it is a lot of practice. Some people might be really good at it quick, then fair play to you. But I took quite a while. I always psyched myself out. Mine was a bit of confidence, to be fair. Like I said, I'd think, oh God, I don't want to get a run. I don't want to get a run. And then you'd get a run, or I'd be worried about not getting a run. You're so dry. So yeah, just have confidence. That's all I want to try and get across to people. Yeah, so with how far I am there, I'm still about 4 inches away from the panel on the second coat. The second coat, I do always go slower, because you are trying to get that finish look. The first coat is just a sealer sort of coat, I like to call. You're just getting it on nice, but not dry, not wet. You just want to get like a nice sort of finish and let it dry. Sort of so it's really tacky, so it's got that real nice stickiness for the second coat to go on. And then, yeah, your sound then, and yeah, sounds easy. But yeah, for people who's done it, it is a skill, and fair play to anyone that does it, or has a go at it. Like, even if you have a go at it, I hope these videos help you. Any more sort of suggestions on what other videos? I know a couple of people said about prepping videos. I'm gonna try and get a few more done. I just struggle trying to get the videos done, so I try and do them as many as I can. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy this video. If you made it this far, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for following. And yeah, I'll try and get some more content out a bit more frequently than I have done recently. And yeah, if I don't see you before, Merry Christmas. And yeah, thanks.